What's good, YouTube? Still answering questions from the comment section. This one is a good one. Somebody said, why is it that men appear to like mean women? Every man mentions wanting peace, but I noticed that men tend to like women with rude personalities, loud, vulgar language, harsh tones, etc. Are most men views on women who strive to be kind and feminine women is that we might be weak-minded? Good question. Do these guys think that kind and feminine men or women are weak-minded and these mean women are more strong? The thing that these men, and I've been trying to get women to understand for the longest time, the thing that men are actually attracted to is the one thing that most women are afraid to provide or give. Men are actually attracted to morals, values, standards, and principles, okay? I cannot tell you this enough. I don't give a heck what somebody said in the comment section. Men are attracted to morals, standards, values, strong beliefs, principles, right? We don't want them exercised in certain inappropriate ways, but we will settle for a woman who exercises her standards and her morals and values and beliefs inappropriately as long as she has them and finds another way to be warm to us. Then we will a woman who doesn't know how to actually be herself. I'm always reminded of the Coming to America scene where Eddie Murphy's meeting his potential wife and he asks her what her favorite color is. And she says, whatever color you like. He says, what do you like to eat? She says, whatever food you like. He says, bark like a dog. And she starts barking like a dog. He says, hop on one leg. And she hops on one leg and he makes her turn around and hop out barking like a dog. Men don't actually like women they can control like that. They want a woman who represents herself, who has her morals, values, and beliefs in place and stands on those things and stands on what she stands for. We don't actually like to be your thoughts, your mind, your brain, your beliefs, your principles, as much as it might seem like men want that leadership over a woman. We don't think that there's leadership. Rulership is unattractive from most men, most healthy-minded men. So when you ask, you say, I see every man says he wants peace, but you notice that he tends to like rude women, personalities, loud, vulgar language, harsh tones, disrespectful, etc. I don't think that those are the things that are attracting those guys, right? What attracts those guys about those women are that those women know what they want, they know what they believe, they know what they'll accept, right? And they know what they'll do for those things, for the love that they seek. And we can trust that a little bit more. That makes a woman more trustworthy when she knows who she is and she's genuine, right? You can expect of her differently than you can a woman who hides what she believes or feels or changes it based on what a man wants her to do, right? So unfortunately enough, mean women are a little bit more trustworthy. Maybe they don't adopt our ideas. They hold steady to their own ideas, right? They're not yes women, so to speak. They're not pick-me's. They don't necessarily allow us to decide when we have sex, when we make the first kiss, when the first move is successful, how fast the relationship goes, all of these different things. Women think that these boundaries, these standards, these principles that they put in place are masculine. None of those things are ever masculine. It's the presentation of those things. So even when a woman misrepresents herself or misplaces her aggression toward these things, we find her to be a little bit more trustworthy sometimes than women who are softer, more feminine in the way they present their ideas. And I'm only using that for lack of a better term because I don't think of everything as feminine and masculine. Some things are just human nature, right? But for me, for lack of a better term, when we think about softer, more feminine women, we're thinking about the kinder, gentler, less threatening, the less abrasive approaches, right? Those are always going to be the best ways we want women to express their morals, values, integrities, principles, standards, etc. But to say that these men are wanting mean women is missing the point to a degree, because we're not actually looking for the attitude. We'll settle for the attitude if we can get a woman we trust, and we can only trust a woman who can depend on and who can trust herself, who's actually married to her own principles and standards. And mean women are married to their principles and standards. You can't just get over on them. They challenge you. They make you think, right? They make you smarter and sharper. They require you to be a better version of you, when sometimes women who are trying to be kind and soft and what they believe to be feminine are a little bit more submissive in the wrong areas, right? They're not necessarily challenging men in the right areas. To be a partner, you have to contribute something. And too often women are afraid to contribute their thoughts, their beliefs, and their standards and their boundaries, right? And boundaries actually make a woman more trustworthy. And mean women tend to have more boundaries. All you have to do, if you want to be treated like these mean women, or if you want to be at least considered next to one of these mean girls, so to speak, since that's what we're calling them for lack of a better term. And of course, none of this is absolute, but when you're looking at guys who like mean women, they're looking at the standards and boundaries because they find them to be very much more genuine and much more trustworthy. Whether that assumption is true or not is inconsequential. It might not be true, but that's what a man is attaching to when he's dealing with mean women, because he knows that when he sends her out to the world, if she's his, that no man can just come up to her and say, hey, baby girl, you're looking beautiful, and end up pinning her into no couch cushions or get into her mind. She's a little bit less likely to cheat because her morals, values, standards, and integrity and principles are so in place that she has boundaries that won't even allow a man the opportunity to get them in a compromising position, right? That's the subconscious mind of a man working toward what you would consider a mean girl, is that she's a hard nut to crack. The man just can't have your woman. She's a more exclusive experience because she's harder to tame. And again, no man likes loud, vulgar, all of these different things, these negative things that rude, loud, vulgar, harsh. We don't necessarily like those things, but you can operate and stand on your principles without being loud, vulgar, or harsh. And so that's what I want you to get from that. Not that a woman who was chosen in front of you is loud, vulgar, or harsh, and that worked for her, but that what she was loud, vulgar, and harsh about were her morals, values, her principles, and her standards for the most part. Men like to work. We often hear about, the cat and mouse game or playing hard to get. You don't necessarily have to play hard to get, but you have to play hard to, rule over, control, lay down with. These things are indicative and indicators to men about how trustworthy you might be in a relationship. Because if I can just come into your life, flirt with you, say a few nice things, rule over you, do what I want to you, say what I want to you, and I just met you, I don't know if I trust you to be my woman, because all it takes is a man with some game, to come up to you and give it to you the same way I gave it to you, maybe even a little bit better. And now my woman is being flirted with by a guy who might be able to take her away from me, right? Men want the exclusive experience, and we want to know that we can trust our partners to just be for us and be strong enough or have a hard enough barrier that other men just can't take her or be with her or have access to her emotionally or physically in that way. So that's what we're looking for. So yes, men like mean women, but they like them because they trust them a little bit more, because they know that that woman's only going to do what she believes in and what she wants. And, if they have seen your standards and your principles in operation, in action, and they trust that they know who you are because your thoughts and your beliefs, your words and your actions are in alignment with each other. Too often, nice, soft, feminine women will tell you what their boundaries or their standards are, but they're too nice. And so you violate those standards or boundaries. And again, if you're a guy who does this, if you violate those standards and boundaries, if you push on those standards and boundaries and they change them, they move the needle, they draw a new line every time you step over the old line, it's very difficult to trust a woman who is not necessarily steadfast on what she believes in and what she says she requires. So you want to see a woman actually be about that. Women fall in love with what they hear. Men fall in love with what they see. We often think that that's just physical, tits and ass. It is not just tits and ass. It's what we observe, the behaviors we observe in a woman, the standards and principles we observe in a woman. Men fall in love with the standards and principles that they observe in a woman. That makes them trust her more, right? So your principles have to be in action and observable by a man. And unfortunately enough, mean women sometimes do a better job of making a display of their standards, morals, values, principles, and their integrity in different ways that can be observed. Sometimes a woman might think great things, but won't necessarily say them. Or she might have these great ideas, but won't necessarily stand on them if a guy pushes back. She has a standard about sexual access or whether or not she listens to a man or does what she's told or lets a man rule over her in some way. And then when he does it, she's just like, okay, well, maybe next time. I'll tell him next time I don't like that or something like that. Mean girls tell you the first time, I told you we ain't doing that. We not doing that. I'm sorry, sir. That's not how we move. And they find other ways to be warm, right? So, because some women do it a little bit too well, and then men feel like, okay, they're in their masculine energy. Whatever. I don't believe somebody standing up for themselves is in their masculine energy. I think that's some weak man shit. I hate the idea that every time a woman stands up for herself, she's in her masculine energy. But for lack of a better term, because we all understand that, that connotation, when those women are in their masculine energy, they found other ways to be warm. They found other ways to inspire. Mean women make a display of their boundaries, make a display of their standards. That's what you want to focus on. And that display is you actually requiring to be treated a certain way. You actually requiring to be spoken to a certain way. You actually only responding to a man when he gives you what you want. If you say you want calls and he starts texting you, a mean woman will be like, well, I'm not responding to that shit because we already talked about this. And maybe she won't say the S word. She'll say, listen, I told you I'm not responding to text messages. You're sweet, but if you can't do this, I don't know if we can work out. Okay, cool. I'm gonna call you. All right. A mean woman will stand on that. A mean woman will say, listen, I told you I have a boundary. We're not having sex. I don't know you like that. I really want to do this, but if you're not interested in this for the same reasons I want it, then we don't need to waste each other's time. We're done. I don't want you to make a move on me every time we go out. If you can't do that, if you can't follow that direction, I can't talk to you. I'm not going to go out with you anymore because you don't seem to understand. You don't take no for an answer. Oh, baby girl, I'm sorry. Listen, I won't. We're not doing that again. I understood clear, loud and clear. Right. They get what they want because they require it. They don't make concessions and bend the rules for men that they like because they have butterflies. That's what mean girls do. So if you can learn anything from a mean girl, learn to stand on your damn principles and morals and values and beliefs and not let a man dictate what they might be based on how much you like him. Mean women don't care how much they like a man. They still have the same principles and standards in place at all times. So that's what they're looking for. That's what they're attracted to. Not the fact that those women are vulgar or cuss a lot or expressive. I hope this helps. Follow me at KidPig24 on Instagram. I'll get with y'all later.